away.
Well, welcome everybody. This is Mystic Muse Metaphysical, our weekly broadcast. I'm Endeavor Shepherd Love, and great to have you here. Starting a few minutes late, not that it matters in Lifetown, but soon our audience will be joining us, and so welcome in advance. Going to be a great show today.
Hi everyone, Mystic Muse. I'm Deborah Christie Love, and another week has gone by, and happy to be here, and hope we get some questions and comments today, and that we can help you out in some way. And let's share some information and what's going on.
Okay, well that works. I think I'm a little spacey. Right now, this week has been blasting us with the Schumann resonance has been hitting the top of the charts all week, and a lot of other astrological things going on, new moon and the like. And you keep better records of all those changes than me. The only thing I feel is spacey. So
Exactly, it's the biggest symptom I think right now. We've had a whole bunch of retrograde planets. We had a break there, I think, a couple days ago. One went direct, which was great, but there's still several that are in retrograde right now for an extended period. So all this energy, and as you said, Schumann resonance really up right now, and that's the biggest change. All this new light coming in right now is really giving people lightheadedness, spaciness, digestive things. I notice I can hardly eat for the last 2 weeks, and across the board I've heard these symptoms from so many people, and it's really messing with sleep, eating, and the spacey feelings. So also there's some anxiety and other little things, but it seems to be very across the board, so many people with the same symptoms.
It's funny when you say anxiety is a little thing. I think anxiety is a massive thing. I know I'm sure feeling it. I'm out there meditating and eating right and doing all kinds of holistic things, and still the anxiety is going through the roof. So it's
well, it depends on the person. So.
Well, yeah, for everybody. I mean, everybody's going to reflect differently, and I can't say I'm faring too well, and most people I talk to are not faring so well. But it's more of an up and down type of thing. You know, we got anxiety. A few hours later, definitely the day or 2 days later, we're better again, and we're riding on cloud nine. Everything is supercharged, and then we go back to a big roller coaster ride.
It's true.
Welcome. Just let me say quickly, Kathleen. Welcome, and nice to see you.
The other thing happening is the equinox is very close upon us here on Monday, Tuesday, and that should bring a little bit of relief. That should bring some balancing energy in there. That is when, the day is equal to the night in length of light, etc. But it's also about balancing of energies, and that should give us a few days of somewhat relief, and so we should get a little break over Monday and Tuesday with that equinox happening for us.
That's the changing of our season. It's also International Peace Day, as I recall.
It is, and my birthday. On International Peace Day. My birthday was first, if you haven't guessed that yet, probably. I think the Peace Day is actually fairly new organized holiday.
Right, yeah, back in the Earth Day came along in the 70s. I'm not sure when this holiday came along.
Not that long ago. I don't believe I heard of it till about 5 or 6 years ago.
Not more than 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I guess it's time for our card of the week and another little energy reading for the upcoming week. We'll see what this shows us. I have the Healing with the Angels cards, a nice older deck, but beautiful, and we're going to see what that brings us today, for hopefully relevant to everyone that watches us and sees this card in the coming week. And what do we have today? Kind of like to wait for one to pop out, and I lost a whole bunch.
I think you got 6 of them there.
I did.
It's going to be a lot of readings today.
I'm going to go with this one that's by itself here. And let me see, is that the right card? Yeah, let's go with this one. And I have Truth and Integrity. So here is our Truth and Integrity card. And that's a beautiful picture there, actually. Okay, so we give our little message with that.
Oh, you go first?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm always referring back to earth changes when I think of truth and integrity. Really, the book of Revelation is all about the revealing. So what we see on earth right now is the revealing, the awakening going on. And so I think this is a perfect card for today, truth and integrity. All over the world, especially in political systems, all of these really nasty, ugly things. War systems, of course, the abuse to children, the unnecessary deaths, the prescription, the medicines. I mean, you name it, the money system. All of these things are coming to the light now for the ugliness that there is. So all of these people, and believe me, there's millions of them that are going to have to live in truth and integrity. And if you don't happen to follow in any of those groups, and you're just a really awesome gal or guy, truth and integrity is going to apply to you too. We're being held to a much higher standard now. We're being pushed into the fifth dimension in a very literal sense. And there, truth and integrity have to stand. There's no second guessing anymore. There's no masking up. I know millions and billions of people are wearing masks now, but that's just a reminder to lose the mask, start living your truth, live in integrity, and no matter what level of consciousness you're at, whether the very dark soul or the most brightest soul out there, we're all being called to step up our game and live in truth. It's vital at this time. Right?
Yeah, I think you're right on there. The truth is coming out all over the world. Just heard something interesting, that there was actually an announcement by Australia saying their government is actually admitting there is no pandemic. So this is huge, and this is the beginning of the truth coming out. So can't wait to see what the next week holds with this closure here, because I think there's a lot of stuff going to come out, and this is all in this truth and integrity. And again, it goes down to the personal level as well, being truthful with yourself and people around you, and doing the best you can with that. We can't change the past, but we can definitely fix where we're at and work on being more truthful within our own being. And I hope that card helps you, because this is a wonderful message and perfectly timed for this week.
Nice. Well, what else we got in our impromptu show that we depend on people like Kathleen to ask us a question, psychic or otherwise? What's going on in your life, Kathleen? I would be glad to talk to you about it. Or anybody else that might be behind the scene here that's not showing up on our screen, feel free to comment. Any questions are always welcome. And that's a lot how we direct our shows. We're not any more wise than you guys are. We just happen to be the ones in front of the camera today.
Well, we also have your cards, so that's always
okay, you want to start right into a card? Do our cards, since we don't
have a question.
Overly organized today, as usual.
Well, that's better that way.
Yeah, that's true.
I think anyway.
This is an obscure fact about the rainbow equation. The rainbow equation appears in my book, a 40-year study about the matrix of the rainbow and how it relates to sacred geometry, prophecy, and everything rainbow. And as part of this rainbow equation, there's these geometric shapes, which I'll just give you a little picture there. So for our newbies here, which we get newbies all the time, there's this here. That's the picture of the rainbow equation there. An older design back in the 90s, but still very similar to that. And you may have noticed on that picture, or you can go back and rewind and pause on it, is that there's a number of white sectors there, and white sectors are not the 7 colors of the rainbow, obviously, but they are a vital part of the rainbow equation. And we discovered a long time ago, way back in the 80s, that there are exactly 365 white sectors on the rainbow equation. Interesting numbers, number of days in a year. I'm not sure exactly what the correlation is there, but like so many of the synchronicities found in the rainbow study, this is certainly a great connection, shall we say. White sectors generally mean on the rainbow equation as a axis point. For instance, at the end of the tetrahedron, you'll find white sectors on all 4 of the points, making for a total of 12, I guess it would be 3, a total of 12 white sectors on the tetrahedron, which is part of, colored with the rainbow matrix. So, this is a very scientific description of how the rainbow works, and the white sectors are a big part of that. And I might also add, while just thinking about it, the address that we're at here in Camp Verde, in the very shadow of the great Sedona, Arizona, world renowned. Well, our address on Main Street is 365 Main Street, so go figure why we moved on to this street, and all of a sudden I'm drawing a card that's talking about 365, so out of about over 100 cards there, so.
Well, it's amazing, and I think the white light is all the colors are contained within the white light, and that's just another synchronicity, another fact to show us that it's all contained in one. All the information will always tie together, the numbers will always correspond and tie together, and everything in a vibrational level can actually be kind of written out in a mathematical form, and scientists have used that forever to explain pretty intense things or pretty amazing things, and they'll have these long equations, and they all do with math and numbers, and that's kind of putting everything into its vibrational measurement form, and everything can be an equation if you look at it in a digital form. So just to show everything is one, and it's a really kind of a neat concept.
Okay, I'm not sure how to add on to that, so we'll move on to our next
I don't
segment.
know what that is.
Well, I think we're working with our books and our teachings today, and of course if any questions come along, we'll be glad to work with those as well.
The story that comes to me from my book that for some reason I should talk about, it's probably there to help somebody out here. When I was quite a bit younger, my grandmother got sick and she passed, and she wasn't sick very long. She was only in the hospital a couple of weeks. But the weird thing was that the day she passed, I realized that I knew psychically I was not going to be able to get there in time that day. I knew it. No matter what I did, I tried to get ready and get cleaned up and get out of my house, and it just didn't work. The phone would ring, something would happen, and but I knew it. I knew it from the moment I got up that morning, and very strange. And my mother had the same problem. She didn't make it either, and so the message I want to give you is hopefully to help someone here, that sometimes the person who is passing chooses who they want in the room, who they want to be with them, or sometimes it's no one at all. Sometimes people actually want to pass away when everyone leaves the room, and we can't question that. We have to know that everything is in divine timing. My other grandmother told me the story of when her mom passed, and she said, I was with her all day, and she sent me out to get ice cream, and when I came back she was gone. And I said, she probably did that because she wanted you to remember her alive. She didn't want you to have the trauma of seeing her pass. And sometimes that's a person's choice. It happens all on a subconscious level, but it does happen, and we have to realize that it's not a mistake. You couldn't have changed it. There wasn't anything you could have said that she doesn't know from the other side, and you have to know that this is the choice in the divine timing of everything, and we have to make peace with that. And I don't know why I meant to tell you this story, but I feel like I was today. That's what just flew into my head, and I know that is something that is in my book. And the thing with my mom, when she tried to get there on time, she got stopped at a stoplight, and she said it had been raining, and all of a sudden the rain stopped, a cloud moved, and the sun came shining out, and she said, I knew that's when it was. 5 minutes before she got there, but she knew, and I knew, so.
Well, there's a lot of things going on. It kind of reminds me of a tragic story I once heard. I was living in this rather large Methodist church I was involved in the 80s, and there was a play that was going on. They did a lot of plays there, actually, and a very advanced church. Number one, I wouldn't even been there because I don't really go for that low energy, control me type of stuff, and this place was very advanced. And anyway, they were putting on this play, and a couple of the main characters were in it, and unfortunately they were involved in a robbery at their house, came in and surprised the people, and ended up dying through that. Very tragic for our church. But there had been so many hints around that story, like little connections. It's almost as if they knew something was going on, and how could they know? They just surprised this crazy person when they come home, and didn't end well. I mean, everybody has a time to pass, so all of that was predestined, but. And it's been so long ago, I can't even remember exactly some of the miracles, some of the signposts that we all knew that something was up. Even like a lot of the aspects of the play that they were supposed to be in, which we had to bring in other characters, and they had to rewrite and did all this, but it just turned that whole play, which it was a bit of a drama to begin with, into this most intense awakening for our entire community. So, even though it might have appeared to be a tragedy, and it really was. I mean, one of these people were 17 years old, wow. And but of course, we got through it, and we grow. So, I'd say the moral of this story is to never fear death. You never know when you're going to go, as my great friend Mike Wood once said. He ended up dying at, I think he was about 29, due to some self-inflicted gunshot, and very dangerous game he played when he said these words. And so, the story is just make the best out of your life, because you really do never know when you're going to go, and it's all predestined. And so, today we're here, and live from Camp Verde, over to my co-host here.
Well, as I said, I think the story is really meant to help people that, I've done a lot of readings, and for people that say, well, I wasn't there, was she mad at me, and could I have done something? No, this is all fine, it's all the way it's meant to be, and they're on the other side trying to console you and say, this is the way it's supposed to be. I chose to go when you were out of the room because I wanted you to remember me before I passed, and not have that trauma, and it's just the way it's meant to be, and there's always love, and whatever you wanted to say you didn't get to say is read by the person that's passed. They can read your heart much better on the other side, and there's nothing really left unsaid. They know your heart, so no worries.
They do. And a lot of it just reminds me of a lot of the suicides that take place. I just talked about Mike and so forth, and I often feel that people get to the other side, and yeah, that their pain is stopped, especially emotional pain. A lot of times it's a physical problem, but all of a sudden they cross over into 5D, and their whole world, their whole super consciousness is awake now, and they feel that pain and that awakening of all the people that they've left behind, all the people that they thought didn't give a damn about them. They actually did care very much about them, but there was some kind of communication gap that
That's true.
that didn't take place, and all of a sudden, this poor suicide victim is gone, and not realizing that the great circle of love that enfolds them, and all of a sudden they're on the other side, not able to get back, feeling this love. So I guess again the moral of this story is to just live your life. If you got a problem, don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Even a few words, maybe just sit out in nature or someplace calm. Yeah, just do something besides just being in your gloomy self, because no matter how low and desperate you think your life is, there are people out there that love and support you. Maybe they're even strangers, but because of their love nature, they're going to be there for you, and would love to lend energy to you, to bring healing, even if it's just a smile, a pat on the back, to bring you a cake, or I mean, whatever it is that's going to shift this energy for you, and then you can be back in charge of your life again. So I know the energy is crazy right now. Actually, suicides are up. I don't know. It's going to be a record year for suicides. Maybe an all-time. I'm not sure, but it's just through the roof. There's so much despondency and changes with this high light energy that's sweeping the earth right now. Well, not everybody is adapting too well to that. They're literally being driven crazy. Lockdown and this seclusion is certainly amping it up. So feel free to send that private message to somebody, and you'd be surprised how many people are there for you.
Yeah, I think the other thing is to remember with this crazy energy is things are up and down so much, back and forth, but also to try to be kind to other people. We don't know what they're going through, and there's no reason to feel we all have to think the same or do the same things, and just be kind to everybody out there. Know that everybody's having a bad day at some point, and maybe just by smiling at them or saying a kind word, we can change their day and make things better. So I think we can all just realize we're all in this, we're all going through different stuff, and it's healing. In the end, it's all healing, and it's all good. So, but now more than ever, focus on that new energy coming in, because that is really giving us more options and giving us more ability to heal ourselves. Even though the healing may be difficult, that energy is healing us, and when we come out on that other side, it can be faster and easier because of this energy. Where it may have taken years in the past, it's shortened up now. We can do very much healing in just several days now, or a week, because this energy is so much higher than it was, say, 10 years ago. So it's all good. Even though it's difficult, it's still good.
Yeah, a lot of good changes. I've been involved in this since the early '80s, and I said the new Earth is coming. See the paradise and all of this, and so to me this time is just really exciting to me. I know we're kind of going through the shitstorm right now, but we're getting towards the end of that. I'm not going to put a date on that. Some people I talk to are saying 3 or 4 months. I think it's 3 or 4 years, but the spirit doesn't work in time, and all time kind of goes out the window when we're talking about these high energy fluxes like this. So, just be at peace. Know that the beauty is coming. I've seen so many beautiful changes on Earth. The peace groups and the love groups, the different groups that are coming together, the awareness groups. You're talking about this army of light, I think it's called, that are going around is that the right word? The Army of Light is exposing all these,
Alliance.
the Alliance. Okay, what's the name?
Alliance.
Just the Alliance, okay. And but anyway, I mean, these people are going down into the tunnels where the children are captured right now. They're getting into the just one example. They're getting into the major books of the banks and finding out where all the thievery has been taking place. I mean, you see these guys in the mask, the original mask before we got into the fake flu, that are totally covered up in what we call those guys. Huh? Anonymous, yeah, the anonymous people. It's these groups, and there's hundreds of thousands. Some people think into the millions of an organized group called the Alliance that they're just indigo children. They're crystal children. They're people that are tired, but of the old status quo, and they're not going to bring that energy into the world. And now's the time for the big wake up. And you know, I'm not much of a rabble raiser that way, or I'm not going to be out there in the streets with a sign. But there's still millions that are out there, and they're really making a massive difference. They're super educated. They're super driven, and this energy is going to be the energy that is changing our world. It is changing our world as we speak.
And it's speeding up. It's not slowing down, it's speeding up. I mean, time is, if you think time's going faster to you, it probably is. It's going faster for everyone. But also the energy is changing things faster. The waking up is happening faster. I think I might have mentioned that snowball effect last week, but you know, that was given to me many years ago, that it would seem this uphill battle until we got to the top of the hill, and then look out, because it's speeding up, and we're speeding up with it, and the information coming out speeding up, the changes will be speeding up. And you know, when things go exponentially, you know, they say by the time you get to 50% and things keep doubling, 50%, the next step is full 100%. So that is the next step when things exponentially double and keep doubling. It's mind-boggling how fast things can move.
Well, and that's what we're seeing in the age of technology. You know, even back in the 90s, there was really no such thing as a cell phone. Computers were still black and white with little data feeds, and you know, look what we're doing now just with our cell phones. We're broadcasting images around the world. You can pick up a phone, at least with a Wi-Fi type of connection, and talk to anybody in the world. Back then, I was talking to somebody for an hour or two on the phone on the other side of the world. That would have cost me hundreds of dollars. And now it's just a free service. So we're totally connecting our world through micro technologies right now. And each year, it just seems like they're adding a new feature that connects us more and more with this high technology. It's all about communication. You know, the new age, or let's call it the Aquarian age, the person who bears the pitcher, as it's called, that's the Aquarian symbol, where this water that they're pouring out is metaphorical, but it's very real. And this water is nurturing the land, it's nurturing consciousness, it's nurturing the heart. It's just restoring our whole earth. This is the age of information that is being poured out at this time, and you know, it's in no small measure. The connections between people have it's not tenfold anymore. It's like 1,000-fold of what it was, say, at the beginning of this century. It's just, and it's growing all the time, and more so, I think there's a 5D connection that's going on that is generating all this. That's what this new Earth is all about. Is that the 3D paradigm is actually raising in consciousness, moving towards a 5D reality. You might say that the two are moving towards each other, and as these two energies merge, we're going to be more connected than ever, no longer limited by a physical need for communication, because all of our communication, just like with the Pleiadians and other advanced cultures, are going to be instantaneous. You know, it's going to be mind power. We'll just think it, and we're going to be connected. We're seeing these kind of connections here on Earth all the time. That's what synchronicities are all about. That's why people know what we're thinking even before we're thinking it. And this is just, that's going to be the new energy. You haven't seen anything yet. We're literally going to be able to talk to each other face to face, and nobody will see our mouths moving, but there'll be a perfect communication going on, just like we experience when we cross over into the 5D.
That's true. The other image that came to me just now when you're talking about, things speeding up and time speeding up, but once we hit that 5D energy, that shift in consciousness makes time feel like it stopped. And the vision I got was when I had my near-death experience, that I was zooming toward this light. I was going home, didn't know where I was going, but I felt it so strongly within me that I had to get there. And it seemed the more I thought about getting there, the more I wanted it, the faster I moved. And then suddenly I'm there, and then it stopped. That movement, that feeling of movement stopped, and it was like, okay, now you're in this whole different realm, and time stops there. It's like you're in the eternal now at that point, and now just unfolds and opens up into eternity, and time basically stops. So that feeling of constant, fast, quick moving just stopped suddenly, and I was suddenly in this other dimension where it was eternally now. And that's basically how they describe it, is you're in God's eternal now. And when I asked about it, that's the answer I got. So interesting.
Yeah. I've always wondered about the actual time stopping phenomena, because one of the natures of time is that there's experiences, or not so much of time. That time is just accounting, but what always occurs is experiences. So, I move my hand like that. It takes a certain amount of time to go from the top to the bottom. So that's going to be the same thing no matter what dimension you're on. There's always going to be this experiential factor that will take a certain amount of experience, call it what you want, time, to unfold. So that there appears to be time wherever we're at. It's just a lot more lucid, a lot more transfigurative when we're in these higher dimensions, where it really doesn't affect us anymore. Here on Earth, big pain, because 70 years we might have our life of drudgery. Some of us. Other people, 70 years, they will fly by because they've had the most amazing lived experience, and 70 years, and they're still a kid because they've been living timelessly in their joy and their love. So time is certainly very relative, but I think experiences, or that time it takes for experiences to happen, does take place.
Well, on the other side, what I can say is that you still experience things, but you are not limited to a linear time. When we have a life here on Earth, we have a beginning point and an end point, where we have come into this life in this space gap of your beginning and end here, and that is to be lived in the linear fashion. And we're tied into that consciously in 3D, but when we get there, we're not limited to that anymore. Of course, we experience things and they take time, but if we decide we'd like to visit another time or think of something, we're instantly there. It's like we can jump around, we can go back and forth in experiences from the past, the future, what we want to create, and there's no limitations on time, where here we have this, we have a chosen beginning and a chosen end for each lifetime, and that is to be lived linearly. There's just no getting around it here, but when we get there, it's a whole different thing. It's like time opens up, it's always now, and you can experience any now within all of eternity that you wish to explore.
Well, and that's the process of living in 5D reality, that the more denser realities that are around us are, basically just shift away. Things like time, things like physicality in general, things like pain, death itself, all of those things just go by the wayside, because in reality those are just temporal relationships. They're a much more dense reality, and feel very real, but actually dense is not where we're at, or where we're really at, is esoteric, energetic, and that type of energy is what we're all moving towards. We're all becoming light bodies, and all of this is 5D reality. So what's going on here on Earth right now is just one more opportunity for us to get back into 5D and live beyond this density, because it's temporal. All these 3D things are going to pass away. It's the love and the light that is eternal.
Yes. I was also reminded that, we do have helpers. We do have guides and angels around us to help us, and we can call on all those higher beings, those ascended ones, and ask for their help, because they're always around us. Angels in particular like to be asked. They don't just come in and start interfering. They really can't do that, so we do have to ask for their help, and they're very happy when we ask and have conversations with them, even if it's just in your head. They're there, and they're really listening, and they're really helping out. And if you listen quietly out in nature, sometimes you will hear the answers that you need, and often it is coming from our angels. But please remember to ask. You're not alone.
Well, and that's the main thing that these ascended ones always tell us, is you're not alone. It might appear that they're off in a different dimension, beyond the beyond, but they're actually very close to us. They're just a thought away. As soon as the second that we start thinking about them, they're there, because that's the nature of energy. There's no time or place with them. They don't need to say, hold on, I'm finishing my coffee. They're actually going to be there just very quickly. And as a little tag to this, I as you were talking there, I thought that we've got to realize that there's angels in 3D form around us too. There's at this high energy time that we're in, there's more angels, archangels, ascended ones, masters that are on Earth as we speak, and they have embodied into the human form. So there are literally thousands, maybe even millions of so-called angels, higher ascended ones, that are walking the earth plane right now to help assist in this transfiguration of human consciousness. So you yourself may be an angel, and you don't even know it. I think every time that you extend love to a sister or brother, then you're acting in an angelic form. So it's not just about growing a pair of wings and looking like the Christian angels. It's more about just living in your light, living in love, truth, and integrity, living boldly, sharing and caring, and all of these are aspects of ascended ones. So it's a new earth out there, and we're going to start living in this like higher reality. It's no longer good enough for us to live in a 3D thing. We're going to live beyond the beyond. We'll be stepping up. The next level is here now. So step into it or step out, because you're not going to be given a lot of choice.
That's true. I don't know. I don't have anything left. I think we covered that so well, but let's do another one of your cards.
Okay. Up to Cardville?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the magic cards here. I'll let all my viewers inject their love and light into that and help me pick the best perfect card. Let's see. I keep seeing this one poking out there. These things are so old. Literally from the 90s. What was I in my 30s then? Give you an idea of my ancient one that I am. Okay, what does the card say? Because the interconnectedness of space and dimension, so-called coincidences, coincidence is incidences related to each other by timing relationship, can happen. So I'll read that without the pause there.
Almost like we already talked about that.
Yeah, I think this is our language base. Because of the interconnectedness of space and dimension, so-called coincidences can happen. So a coincidence is the incidences that are related by a timing relationship. So if you're walking along and something flashes in front of you, well, it was probably no accident that you were brought to that perfect time in that place. You know, all of these things beyond time and space, which again is that timing factor, is allowing this certain coincidence, which we in this language base call synchronicity, to occur. So if you're getting a 777 license plate in front of you, a lot of times that person just turned out of an obscure driveway that you just happened to catch at this exact time, and there's about 15 different relationships that happened, but you needed to see that 777 to remind you that synchronicity does exist, that we are much more powerful than we allow ourselves to be. I remember when I first started getting in this, I couldn't have been more than about 22 at the time. I got what was called the Zap revelation, and all of a sudden I'm seeing the word Zap in front of me. The first time it was a license plate, a big fancy Camaro, as I recall, and they just pulled right in front of me, and there it was, ZAAP, all capital letters, and other time, and then for the rest of the week, I'm like seeing it. I pick up a newspaper, the word Zap, or you know, the TV, the word Zap. I mean, how often do you actually see this word Zap? I don't think I've seen it in years now, but that week I was seeing it all the time. And I knew that I knew at that time that higher consciousness was playing into that. There was no way that all of these synchronicities could come into my life in such a short period. So it really awoken me to the reality that consciousness, light, the human mind, the human connection between those, you know, we really are just a fulcrum of energy collecting at our pineal center. Pineal gland, and these all coalesce within our experiences. So we're really driving these synchronicities. So the next time you see a 222 on the clock, 111, 1, or whatever that is no accident. It's probably because you've been thinking about it. Yesterday you saw that number, and all of a sudden it's deep in your spirit. You're going to see it again, and the more you start to connect with that, the more you realize that this is the power of the human connection, is that we can bend time and space. We can move material objects to be exactly where they need to be, exactly at the right time. Because again, there's no time and place. So this gives us all power on heaven and earth. This is what the ascended ones have known for eons of time, and now these secrets are being revealed on a conscious level to people, so that we can begin to wake up, realize that we are totally all-powerful beings, have this ability to transfigure time and place, and in reality build our destiny, become master manifestors of our reality, take charge, become the god and goddesses that we are. And this reality is the golden reality that is 5D reality, that really moves us beyond this limitation that we think that we are in human form.
It's true. We need to remember who we are, and our higher self is there to guide as well. That's your best teacher is your higher self, and if you can learn to allow higher self to be in charge more often, and that just means getting out of the way, simply getting out of the way. When you're in that state of kind of a light meditation state, if you're going on a walk in nature, you're sitting there contemplating, just looking out over water or something, and you're not thinking or focused on anything consciously, your higher self can get through in those moments, and that is always where our clearest ideas come to us, our clearest inspiration comes to us. You know, there's been so many times that I've gone out on walks, and unbelievably I will just kind of stop and turn my head a certain way, and I will see an animal. I will see a snake go into the grass, and if I hadn't turned my head at that exact moment, I wouldn't have seen it. Or I will look up at a certain time and see a certain bird, and it's like I do it automatically. I didn't consciously know there was this animal there. I didn't consciously know I should stop now, but my higher self knew and sent that signal for my body to do it. And it's happened so many times. I've stopped dead in my tracks at a good pace of walking a few times just to look down and realize if I didn't stop at that second, I would have stepped on this dead animal or this dead thing that was in front of me, and it was like, wow, I had no idea. But I literally stopped and froze, looked down and went, oh, thank you. Walked around and have no idea that I was tuning into anything but higher self was looking out for you. And higher self will look out for you if you can open that door and open that channel for the signals to simply get through, for your body to react to them on time.
I often think of, I've had, like thousands of synchronicities, but one of the things I used to get a lot was I'd turn on the radio at a certain time, or change the channel or something on the radio, and there would be this perfect song that would literally the same words that were just in my mind. Now, what's happening there, I've come to realize, is that the superconscious was already tuned into those 100 different radio stations, 100 different songs, 100 different ways, and it knew exactly what songs or words that I needed at that instance. That's the nature of superconsciousness. It sees literally everything going on. It saw that animal where you maybe didn't see it.
Of course,
Directed you to look down at that time.
Stop in your track, like freeze.
It's because the superconscious is seeing everything. It's even, on another level, just with the 222, it's somewhere in the room, but it's probably behind us on the clock, and all of a sudden we stop, we turn our heads, and we look at it right at that instance. Well, how are we seeing behind the back of our head? Well, it being super conscious, is seeing behind the back of our head. It's seeing everything around us. It's seeing that person that's going to call on the phone, minutes before they do. So it puts that thought in our mind. So there is a great deal of communication. This is the age of communication, and synchronicities are just a big part of that, because super consciousness is becoming super intensified right now.
Yeah, it's really just allowing those messages, and that's why when we do the card of the week, whatever intention we put in for the question, the right answer will come out if we trust that our higher self knows what all those cards say in each deck that we choose, and I'm guided to choose a certain deck each time. And if you just listen to those little nudges and follow them, it's all you, it's all your higher self. And so when I do a card reading for someone, I know that it's really their higher self that has shuffled those cards and knows exactly what's going to come out. And in fact, what often happens is I tell the person a few things, holding on to an item of theirs, and basically everything that I've told them will come out in the cards that they shuffle and pick out, because higher self has already communicated through me and the cards to already have that coincidence of matching, and that just firms up that these are the correct messages for that person, all coming from their own higher self. And we all can do this. We just need to trust and allow.
Oh, stop talking. I was just going to look up coincidence in the Rainbow Connection. I don't know that I'll be able to find it quickly, but so I was hoping you'd just keep talking. But did I open? Oh, there it is. 6-1, page 94. Let's see if this actually works. There's over 70 color illustrations in this book here, and one of the reasons it's a little pricey, we're actually in process of printing a black and white rainbow book, so talking about strange, but economics is kind of driving us towards that, and where this book might be $30 or and up, or we were to do the black and white one for about $15. So that being said, this is a picture of with the timing axes of the rainbow equation. There's 6 axes to the rainbow equation. The cube is in the center. Along one of these axes is the time axis, as it is called, because time is such an integral part of understanding the space matrix of the rainbow. And this is a picture of the time symmetry coincidence diagram. I'll hold up for our viewers. Nice shot there. And almost looks like a little wheel. You might call it a wheel of time. You'll notice also that the rainbow is painted upon this in exact order, and that is indicative of the entire rainbow equation. So the time symmetry coincidence, which coincidence is from this word coincidence, but it's a coincidence, which is that connection within time that it's itself. Just to let our viewers know, or people that would be interested in this book, that the nature of time, which is extremely mysterious, is gone into great depth within this book called The Rainbow Connection. And to get a copy if you want to go deep with some of these studies, because now's the time of the revealment. The subtitle of this is Gen Z, which means Generation Z, the universal language of light. So this is the time that the latter generation, the last generation, will be exposed to this amazing revelations that are taking place here on Earth now.
Yes.
Okay?
Awesome.
That's a little segue. I think we're actually getting closer to running out of time. It's been a quick show. 4 minutes officially, but that might be closer to 10 because we started a few minutes late today. What else you got there for us?
I don't know. We've covered a lot of different things today, so really awesome. Yeah, let me see if there's anything comes up here.
Pause on the camera. We apologize for that.
I'm not.
We'll lose six readers just in one pause. People are so impatient anymore.
Asking for questions if you have any questions.
We've always wanted that. Even Eric usually does have some NDE questions. He's been a little quiet. Kathleen's been a little quiet, and I'm not sure who else is watching. There's often people in the background watching that don't show up on our screen.
Well, I just would like to hold my book up now and say there is love, and that is my near-death experience journey from when I was 4 years old. But it also continues with my life and how the plan, the master plan that we have for our lives is often mostly chosen before we get here. The clues are all within us, and they will guide us along the way, and it's all about trusting that. We all have an inner map which is there for us, and it's just a matter of following those, as you said, synchronicities, and following them and trusting them with your heart and knowing that there is a bigger plan. We don't get to see it all at once. It unfolds very slowly, and it's like when you're painting a mural. I've done this before actually on a large wall, and you're up close trying to paint the mural, and you get to a point where you see what you're doing and you're going along, and then you get to a point where you just have to stop, and I have to get off the ladder or back up about 10 feet and look at the whole thing from a distance, and then I can go, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing, that makes sense, and this is what I need to do, and then I have to get back up close and do the work, because I could now see from a better perspective what I had to get up close to do. So when you're getting those little bits up close, it's hard to see. So by the time we're done, it becomes a great tapestry that is all planned out and changes. Everything is what it is up close, but when you see it from a distance, you see how it all fits together. And that's the way our life is. It's this beautiful energy that is that is moving and weaving itself together in a way that it is meant to do so. And we can't see it sometimes from the place where we are. We have to back up and see it from a distance, and it will all make sense. And it's about trust and knowing that it's all the way it's meant to be.
Welcome Ahava, who's actually making some comments there. And yes, it has been a while since we've seen you there. One of our everybody's our favorite viewer, but I certainly remember you, Ahava, for your energy and light. And
you have no idea how timely this is.
so speaking of timely and synchronicities and so forth, it looks like you've joined us at the right time in the right place. I just wanted to say one more word about the tapestry. Is you know, I'm thinking of the earth changes that are going on right now, and I think a lot of us look at you know, this problem or this transformation or one little thing, but you know, all of these things are working as a great orchestra with each other, a great tapestry with each other, and because we're more in a 3D form, it's a little harder to see how it all works together, but in super consciousness, that they are all working together. On the higher realms, everything is working in divine timing and divine plan. So, and there's millions of things going on at once, but they have no problem to, you know, spirit, it has no problem to lead us into, you know, connect millions of dots, synchronicity, super consciousness. That's just another day for that phenomena. So you know, don't worry that maybe things are looking a little dismal right now. There's a much higher plan going on, and you know, we're right on track with that. And if anything, time is being shortened, and we're fast tracking all of these changes to bring in the new Earth.
And I'm just guided to say now too that no matter where we are, like you said, sometimes it doesn't look great right now, but there's always positive to look for. And if we stay focused on that, we will get ourselves into that higher vibration and focus on the positive only. We can let the negative go much easier when we're focused on what is good right here, what is happy right here, what is wonderful right now, and we can find those things. And sometimes it's just that little shift that will help us get through our day and help us get to the place where we're just attracting better things by doing so. And that is the last message I have. So I think we're out of time.
I think we're down to our last couple of minutes here, and I did have a segue into that, and I kind of forgot what it was. I know that we are led to the right place at the right time, and that's going to be the nature of things. And I think what I was thinking with yours is that it is very important to keep positive, to keep in the light the best that we can, to find those meditation or quiet spots throughout our day, and also to live in a spirit of gratefulness for what we do have, because the more that we don't do that, so we're being negative, we're going to start bringing more negative experiences into our lives. So, you know, keep the light, keep the love going high, and you're going to get a lot more of that, especially in these super sped up times that we have right now.
Yeah,
okay.
So I think that's
you want to do our wrap-ups with our credits?
Yeah, well, as I said, for me, my book is There Is Love, My Near-Death Experience and Beyond, and you can find that on Amazon. And my CD, Love Will Find a Way, and again, you can find that on probably on iTunes or Bandcamp, right? And my blog is deborahchristielove.wordpress.com, and of course the Mystic Muse website, mysticmuseonline.com.
Right, and at Mystic Muse Online, you'll not only find these books, but you'll also find my books. And you'll find all the schedules that we have here. We're still working on filling up classes here for psychic development. We got a meditation class coming up, or just really meditation. We got our drumming circle at the end of the month, and of course all the other services, the Reiki, the card readings, and then of course we have our retail store just across the hall here. So a lot of things. Information available on mysticmuseonline.com. find my books on Amazon. I got 3 of them now, including Rainbow Connection, at David Shepard Love. You just search those engines on Amazon, and you will be led to the different works that I have available there. Of course, there's rainbowequation.com if you want to delve deep into what the rainbow matrix is all about, the sacred geometry. You'll find that at rainbowequation.com. My personal website, rainbow.guru, that will get you there. That's a sister site of davidshepardlove.com, and that's going to give you the more of the prophetic side of what's going on over at www.rainbow.guru. So I think we're out of time.
I think
here.
so.
Thank you everybody for joining us. Nice
Thank you.
to see our people show up at the end, and even, I know behind the scenes a lot more. Our views are into the hundreds every week, so thank you to our loyal audience out there. Please send your questions and comments, and we'll get back with you.
Until next week. Love everyone.
Good.
Take care.
Take care. Bye for now.